Today's live stream is going to be about consistency and how consistency is going to get you where you want to be when it comes to going down the path of being a single dad or even a dad in general. Um, so, if you want to have the type of relationship with your kids that you're hoping to have, especially if you're watching this, it means you probably care about having a strong relationship. Um, Sorry. I'm trying to do these live streams more. Get on live to really connect with my base and my my community. I can't really connect people the same way via my videos. Um, for some reason, right now, YouTube doesn't really push my videos when it comes to parenting. So I figure the best way to do it is to jump on a live stream, get things going, get conversations sparked, and kind of just go from there and see what happens. So. Um, if you're watching, I'm live right now. Don't currently have anybody online. So I'll be putting this up as a YouTube video. So if you guys are watching this, I appreciate you stopping in. So basically, the topic tonight is consistency. And the reason why I want to have this conversation is because, uh, this weekend, I had a fun weekend with my son and my former stepson. So the one thing was like with my relationship, it didn't really work out, but I had a strong relationship with my stepson at the time. He was 6 when I met him, and I had a really good bond with him. And unfortunately, when the relationship ended, so did my relationship with my stepson because my ex didn't want me talking to him anymore. Uh, so it was basically a really challenging time for me. So hello, David. Are you a single dad? Thanks for jumping in and being the first person on my stream. Um, so again, my topic tonight is just consistency. Hello. So consistency when it comes to your relationship with your kids and with kids in general, when especially if you're in a relationship where the person you're dating had kids before you. Uh, so basically, this weekend, my former stepson, he's 15 years old, and he's still around. So when my relationship ended, my ex kind of forbid me from being able to talk to him, and I don't think she realized how much of an influence I had on him. And this is what I kind of want to tell you guys is like, especially if the person you're dating has kids, like you have a greater influence on the kids than you even know. What's your question? So I'll keep going until I see your question. But basically, like, the consistency that you do while you're in that relationship, um, especially if you're with them, and you can be a positive influence in these kids' lives. Just because I think the reason why I made this is because I didn't have the kind of dad growing up that I wanted to have, and um, sometimes when you enter a relationship with somebody that already has kids, that kid is missing that component. They're missing a father figure, and you don't always have to jump in and be a financial like. You don't always have to be a financial catalyst for former kids. You can be a good influence and show them how to be a good person, and you can be a positive influence in their lives. And I always had the thought process like I never wanted to replace my stepson's father. If anything, I just wanted to be an additional positive influence, and I think with consistency you can be that. So when I first met my stepson, he was 6 years old. He's 15 now. When I went through the court battle with my ex, he was I think 11, and we didn't talk for about a year and a half. And then on Christmas 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, he came outside and he saw me, and he like grew up like I think like 2 or 3 inches. It was insane. Like now he's like close to my height. But when I met him, he was a little guy, and this was my ex's first husband, and back then I kind of always saw like he wasn't really affectionate towards him, and he didn't really like he wasn't really the loving kind. And so, what if they refuse to listen to some rules you set? Yeah, you don't want to punish them too hard. So I think if you're in a relationship, I think it's really important that any conversations that you have when it comes to disciplining the kids should happen in private. Never make those things in public. I mean, this goes either way. So if you have kids and you have somebody else coming in your life, kind of set the expectations, um, and make sure like you never like what's the term, like you never penalize somebody in public, and you always publicly praise them. So the reason why I say that is because if you're in a situation and you say something, and then your your significant other corrects you in front of them, the child's no longer going to respect what you say. Um, but again, at the same time, like I think it's definitely a learning curve, and it takes patience. Like you need to just be yourself, be present, be who you are. You have to accept the fact that like, especially if there's kids coming in the relationship with that person, like it's going to be a learning curve for both of you. Again, you should try to foster the relationship that they have with a dad. Your goal isn't to ever replace them. Like, if anything, your goal is to add to the what they already have. And um, if they're not getting that from the father, be that strong influence in their lives. Like, be a reason, like be something that they look up to and they aspire to be. Um, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, it's the same way I father my own son. Like when you punish them, are you looking to punish as a point of power, or is the way you're punishing them? Are you looking for them to grow? So, like for an example, with my son, like you set expectations, and like with my son, like if he does something wrong, I never truly get mad at him the first time. Like I will, like obviously I'll be upset, but like they don't know what they don't know. And when they make a mistake, you call them on it, and then you discuss it and you talk about it and you set the expectations, and you tell them, hey, listen, this is how this has gone this time. I'm letting you know what the expectation is. This is how you're supposed to conduct. If you do this continuously, if you do it again, this is what the repercussions are going to be. So again, like you're not going to build that relationship in one day. Like it takes consistency. And it's the same way with any relationship with any kids. Like you stay consistent, you show up consistently, you show up on time, you show up when you're going to, you do what you're going to say, or you do what you say you're going to do. So I don't know if that answered the question, but um, for myself, like I was just parent. Like I didn't have the father I wanted when I grew up, and I just told myself when I became a father, I'm going to be the father that I wish I had growing up. And usually, whenever I'm about to punish my son, or whenever there's discipline that comes into um, fruition, I always just think about like what would I have needed at that time? Like if I was making that mistake right now, and I was in his position or her position, what would I need from my parent at that time to move forward? And obviously, hopefully, your significant other has your back when it comes to this stuff, and they understand that you have a good heart, and that what you're saying is for the betterment of the child and not a power hit. Because honestly, there are plenty of people out there that are power hungry and they want to be in control. Unfortunately, there's just not that many good people. But my thought process is, if you're watching this right now, this live stream, that means that you care to actually address it the correct way. Yeah, honestly, like the way I look at it is it's all trial and error. Like I said, like there's no instruction manual when you have kids, and there's definitely no instruction manual when you become a stepfather. I mean, like there's there's trial and error. You make mistakes, you learn from them, you don't make them again. I think the best thing that you can be when you're in these situations is to be self aware. honestly, like your first point is to help support the other parent and like help build that. Like again, you should try to foster the relationship they have with their natural parent, and then kind of just step in and be that additional support and resource to help guide them. Like I said, my relationship ended 4 years ago, and my ex stepson had just started coming back in my life. Because honestly, like his dad reminds me a lot of my dad, where he's present, but he's not present. And what I mean by that is like you could be present physically, but being present emotionally is just a completely different thing. Um, like I was at a baseball game the other day with my stepson. I was like, "What kind of stuff do you and your dad do?" And he was telling me like online mobile games they play, like chess and Wordle and stuff like that. And I'm like, kids don't need that. Like kids need that person, especially when they're younger. I mean, like up until they're 18, 20. I feel like this is when I appreciate that. I have videos all the time. My videos don't have much traction right now. That's why I started doing live streams. It's a way for me to actually get out and have people like join in, and we can have conversations. So I have a lot of parenting videos. I also have my dad jokes of the day. So if you enjoy laughing and a little bit, I appreciate your subscribing. So yeah, to continue on the conversation, my stepson's or my ex stepson's like 15 years old now. He's turning 16, and I was a positive influence on him when he was younger. And like I always made sure I gave him a hug, um, told him I loved him, that whatever he needed, I'm there for him. And honestly, like that like planted a seed in his head that like he knew I was always somebody he could take care of. And then when he saw me again, and now he's older in life and he's like 16 or about to turn 16, he needs that consistency that he had when he was younger because his dad's just not providing it now. Um, what type of pizza do you prefer, with sourdough or dildo? That was a weird question. I see what you're trying to do there. As somebody that does dad jokes all the time, I see after I read it what it did. Um, all right, well, I'm gonna ignore that because that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But so again, like when I break it down in one of my other videos that like with any stage with any kids, like there's three stages of raising them. There's the first stage, which is discipline. That's from ages 0 to 6 years old. That's when like you teach them right from wrong. Ages 6 to 12 is when you're teaching them. So basically, like you're teaching them history, you're teaching them lessons, and then from ages 12 to 18 is like when you're guiding them. So basically, after they've been disciplined, they know what the expectations are. 6 to 12 is when you teach them, so the things that they know, and then when they're 12 to 18, that's when they take the stuff that you learned, they apply it to their life, and then when they need help, you're there to guide them. Um, so so other than the joke that you had, do you have anything that you have questions about or you want to discuss? Okay. So continue on, like with the consistency point, like especially when I became a single dad, like I realized that consistency was the most important thing. Um, because as a single dad, we only have so many opportunities with our kids. It's like the one downside of not having a nuclear family. You know, when the nuclear family, you always have another opportunity the next day, or you can go downstairs, or you can come home from work, and you have the ability to be with your kids all the time. But when you're a single dad, especially like for my situation when I was going through family court, um, you only have a certain amount of times to be able to be with your kids. And a mom has a natural connection with their kids, and a father doesn't have that. Like a mom feeds their kid, a mom births the kids, a mom feeds the kids. But a dad has to consistently try to be in his kids' lives, and he has to he has to make an effort because it's really easy for dad to walk away. And I think that's the one thing that sucks about family court is that like family court almost rewards the dads that want to walk away because you can want to walk away and there's no way it's going to fight to bring you back. But if you're fighting for your kids, like it's almost impossible to get what you want in family court. Like I'm a perfect testament for it. Like I wanted to be a present father, and when I went to family court, it cost me like $50,000. Like I'm still paying off things, and my last court date was 2 years ago. So, but the one thing I was able to do when I was going through all that stuff was the I was able to separate family court from being a dad. So like when it came like when I was with my son, there was no distractions. Like if he was over my house, we were on the floor, we were playing with cars, we were playing with Legos when he got old enough. We were playing games, we were going to the playground, and I was putting that consistent effort in. Like I didn't let distractions distract me from building that bond. And like my son, he's almost 8 years old. My stepson's 16 years old, and because I've built that trust with them, with the original disciplining, teaching them and guiding them, like my relationship with them is so good now, and that's honestly why I started this channel was because again, like when I was becoming a single dad, like when I looked out for resources, it was all about how to own your significant other in court. And like as good as that is, because in that those initial stages when like you're starting to fight for custody for your kids, like you're very angry and there's a lot of animosity, and like your goal is to like own this other person in court so you can get whatever you want or whatever you're hoping to get. And a lot of times that isn't a healthy thing that you want. Like I was angry when I was in family court, and like my goal was to make myself look better while making another parent look bad. And like I just at this point in my life, like I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Like even my worst enemies, I wouldn't wish what family court does to you to anybody else. Um, so be consistent with your kids. If you're going through family court right now, find a way to separate being the family court part where you're frustrated and you're angry. Find a way when you're with your kids to make your kids the main focus. Find activities that you enjoy doing. Play games with them. Play toys with them. Because the biggest thing I found is like I my son was 4 when we started going through it, and I think when you're going through the family court system, they don't think about what the actual child needs at that point. Obviously, when your kids are a little older, they can kind of speak for themselves. But like at that point, it was like just lobbing insults at each other and putting the worst stuff inside the family court papers and trying to put that in court. Um, my ex would say stuff like that I was a horrible father, that everybody can see what I'm doing, and that like all this and stuff. And this is where that consistency part takes place. Is like so about a year and a half into the custody battle. Um, in my custody agreement, we had a carve out for each of us. Had 2 weeks with him in the summer. There were two non-consecutive weeks, and the one week my son stayed with me, and at this point we weren't talking because there was orders of protection and whatnot. Um, and so like the whole week we didn't talk, and then my ex came to pick up my son, and my son started crying as soon as he left. And at that point, like at that point, it was just lobbing insults and trying to get the best of one another. And like I could see in her heart that like I was like she's hoping that he's crying because I screwed up something so she could get the upper hand in family court. And it was the opposite. It was my son didn't want to leave. Like he was upset, and he wanted to stay with dad. And that's when like the consistency part weighs in, because eventually kids can speak for themselves and kids can kind of say what they want, and they can show through their emotions and their feelings and their words that like that what you're saying is false. So um one of the best pieces of advice that my lawyer gave me, I should say my second lawyer, was that you have to be the one that cools down everything. The type of toxic relationship I had, it was always like, who can get the upper hand in this argument? Who can be the winner? And honestly, like when it comes to family court, there is no winners. So like through the whole battle, you're both trying to get the upper hand, and neither one of you are. Like you're just lobbing insults back and forth at each other. And what I learned is like if you stop, like even if what you say or what they say upsets you, if you don't respond to it, like eventually they don't want to keep doing it anymore because nobody wants to keep lobbing insults all the time. Nobody wants to be negative all the time. And if you do want to be negative all the time, like I guess that's on you. But eventually it all plays out. Like the consistency takes over. The other parent will see your consistency in the kids. Like they'll see that you're actually putting a forth a real effort. And it's all about patience because like it's like one of the things I tell people is like in family court, you will never get something positive out of one thing you say. I said that's the best reason why you should have an attorney when you go to family court because they tell you when to shut up. And honestly, in family court, you should shut up because you can negatively affect your case in just one thing that you say. You say one thing off the handles, you can ruin everything. They can take all your rights away. They can give the other parent 100% custody, and you won't have any. So um, again, when you're in court, let your attorney do what you're paying them to do. Be quiet. When you have to talk to your ex, keep it civil. Be nice. Be courteous. Even though you don't want to, it takes. But you have to remember what your main focus in all this is your kids, and um, anything you do negatively can sabotage that. So just make sure you're giving yourself the best opportunity to get the most you can in court. Like you're not going to win in family court. If you're a man, if you're a father, unless like your ex is like burning your kids with something, like you're probably not going to get full custody. And like your best goal is to get 50-50. And if you can't get 50-50, I couldn't get 50-50 in my case. And like the thing that's frustrating is like they never ask you. They're never like they never ask you what kind of father are you? What kind of things do you do with your kids? Like none of those things were ever asked in my case. So just be consistent when you're with your kids. Don't be distracted. Get off your phone. Get down, play with your kids. Take them to do fun things. If you don't have money to do things, take them to the park. Um, Hey guys, I see somebody just added. I'm curious if you're joining. What brought you to my channel? Are you a single dad? Do you have questions? Do you have stories that you want to tell? Honestly, the reason why I created this channel was to kind of help other single dads. But I'm not doing it with the sole purpose of myself just sharing stuff. Any lessons that you have, any stories that you have that you want to post down in the comments in the chat. I'd love to have a discussion, and I'm always willing to learn more from you guys, and hopefully I can help you guys out too. This is a single dad journey. My son's almost 8 years old, so I'm halfway through it. But I would love to start a conversation. So whatever you guys got, feel free to put it in the chat. So we can start. Where are you logging in from? The art of small talk. All right. So again, the topic tonight is consistency. So when it comes to your kids with your stepkids, whether your relationship is over, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're post child or post custody battle, the goal is to stay consistent. Hello, I see somebody just joined. What brought you to the channel? Are you a single dad? Are you a single parent? Are you looking for advice? Yep. Hello, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you joining. Do you have any questions or anything about? Are you a single dad? Are you a dad? Are you a mom? All right, I see I got another person on. Thanks for joining in. Just wanted tonight's topic is consistency. Basically, how if you're a single dad, if you're a parent in general, how the consistency that you show will benefit you a long way, whether it's with your own kids, whether it's stepkids, whether it's with a former children of former relationships. My goal is to help you guys foster those relationships. Um, this past weekend, I took my son and his older brother, which is my former stepson, to a baseball game, and it was on full display how the consistency that I had made younger in his younger days was paying off now. I'm a firm believer that if you want to have a relationship with your kids down the road, whether it's with your own kids or with your stepkids, that you need to be consistent, and you have to be consistently there for those children. If you can be a person that those kids can depend on, they're going to look to you for advice. They're going to look to you for guidance. They're going to want to be around you. Um, so that's my best advice for tonight is consistency, and that's kind of where I want to push the conversation. So if you're on here right now and you have questions, it could be about anything. Honestly, like my goal is to help anybody that needs it, and um, I'm I'm glad to share any of my story, any of my wisdom, any of the lessons I've learned through all this. Because I'm a single dad. Been single now for 4 years. Right now, originally, sure. What's your question? And I appreciate you joining too. I love when you guys ask questions in the chat because it gives me an opportunity to kind of go off topic. Sometimes I have ADHD brain and I start talking and I start saying a lot. So anything you guys can put in the post and kind of why is everybody so thirsty to be a streamer? Well, I'm not naturally a streamer. I've had my channel now for about 9 months, and I've done short videos, and I've done my long form content. But honestly, as a community that's a single dad, like my goal is not for. I'm not trying to make a name for myself. Like my goal is to help other men that were in similar situations as mine, and if I can, I've always looked at it as a point of most YouTubers want quantity. So their goal is to have as many subscribers as they can. And that's the main focus of what they're on here for. As much as I want to have as many subscribers as possible, because it's like a second job, honestly. Like every day I'm creating content, I'm writing scripts, I'm putting together videos, but I care about the quality of the connections I'm making. And sometimes I can't do that through a short, I can't do that through a long form video. Sometimes there's a dad out there that just has a question, and if I'm on live, they can come on and ask for a question. So I'm guessing that's probably not where you're going with that. Why is everybody so thirsty to be a streamer? But um, that's why I'm live right now. So, what are your thoughts on my question? Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you having a kind response. So, but yes, I understand what you're saying because I go on I go on social media and I see a bunch of people streaming. And I'm like, this had no quality in my life whatsoever. Like I have 35 seconds of my life I can't get back. So I completely understand. Are you a content creator or are you just a content you just take in content? Just curious. But anyways, yeah. So let's see. No, not content creators. Still on these live streams. I'm amazed how many people are on here. Yeah. So I mean, for my, it's hard because the YouTube algorithm doesn't really push out a lot of stuff. Like I have I have a bunch of different content on my channel. So my content started as I wanted to be able to help other dads, and I failed miserably the first time. That was like 2 years ago. Like I thought, like as soon as you upload something, people immediately want to watch your videos, and they didn't. So I was like, well, I don't want to do this. And then I was like, about a year later, I was like, this is back in probably August 2025. I was like, let me try again. I'm gonna do a real script. I'm gonna put my camera up. I'm gonna make sure the lighting is good. And I uploaded that video, and I got no likes. The only views were the ones that I watched. So then I started doing the shorts, and um, I love being a dad. So I always tell dad jokes in my real life. So I started filming dad jokes every day, and that was kind of my way to like break into the content creation. And then I'm also in the military. I'm in the army. So I started sharing stories about my army career and kind of the process of joining. And those were the videos that started taking off. So a lot of my subscribers have come from my military videos or my dad joke videos. But my goal is to help people. And unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't really push my dad content very much. So it's not really hitting a big audience. So honestly, like if somebody like you like stumbles upon my page when I'm randomly talking, and they put something in there, um, I would love for that to help. So I have purpose in what I'm streaming. So how old are you and how old's your kid? I'll have to check that out. How old's your oldest? Mid 20s and 30s. So I became a dad when I was 31. And my I guess the way I father is my father wasn't really around when well, he was around, but he wasn't around emotionally. A lot of bad things happened to me because my dad didn't really focus on being a father. Um, so like there was a lot. I didn't really have a lot of positive male role models around when I was younger. And then when I joined the military, I started to have some. And then when I went to college, I had some. And then when I started going to church, there was some men I could talk to, some fathers. And basically one of like the first people I talked to, and I was like, his kids were in their 20, like early 20s to mid to late 20s, and they were starting to become successful. And I was like, how did you get to where you are? And he's the one that started guiding me. So ever since then, I've just been trying to be the dad that I needed as a kid. Um, and I know there's like the topic of like gentle parenting now, and like there's also the harsh parenting. Like you need to be super hard on your kids, and I just feel like there needs to be like a middle ground somewhere. Do you have a do you have a good relationship with your kids now? I guess you're gone. uh, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna end this stream here. I gotta get out and do some exercise. I got some pounds to cut still. So if you joined today, I appreciate you joining in. I appreciate you commenting and sparking up conversation. It's always a pleasure. If you like this, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my videos. Let me know what you think. May God bless you and you guys have a great day.